And then Brother Mustafiz, can you make me co-host so I can share my screen, inshallah? Thank you. Bismillah. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the first workshop for EPC this year. Inshallah, we'll start with introductions, and then we'll talk about the theme and the topics for each level, as well as the rubrics and expectations. So I like to make the workshop interactive, so you can either unmute yourselves to share, or you can always use the chat. If you haven't used Zoom before, at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that has like two speech bubbles. That's the chat box. So if you click on that, you should be able to type in any messages that you'd like to share, inshallah. All right, so let's begin with introductions. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Taha Nassar. I am a second grade teacher in Montgomery County. I used to participate in EPC since third grade, I believe. And so I've done EPC for many, many years. And after participating, I then also started judging, and now I'm part of the organizing team as well, alhamdulillah. So I'd like to know who is in the room with us. So if you could either type in the chat or unmute yourself to share your name, your age, or what grade you're in. That gives us a little bit of an idea of the different levels we have with us today. And then why you decided to join EPC this year. And again, you can type in the chat or unmute, whichever you are more comfortable with. Do we have any volunteers who'd like to unmute? I know some people might be typing. Right, so we have Liana, who's in eighth grade, joining EPC because she's looking to improve her speaking and communication skills. Excellent way to go ahead and do that. I know starting off at EPC definitely helped with my writing skills. And then as you get into the speech part of the competition, it helps you become a better speaker as well, just in terms of improving your eye contact and just being comfortable and confident in front of an audience. So you'll definitely get that out of EPC. Thank you for sharing, Liana. And we have Musa, who's also 13. He's been participating in EPC for many years, and he joined because it makes him learn more about things about Islam while he's researching, which is another great opportunity. I know I, as a judge, learn a lot from your essays when I'm reading them. And so it's definitely something that I enjoy, just being able, one, it's good reminders, and then just seeing the depth of the research that some of the participants get into really helps bring in new information as well. Noura is in fourth grade, also joining EPC to boost her confidence in public speaking. Excellent. Right, so it looks like we have some middle school, some upper elementary. Anyone else? Okay, we have Simra, who is in sixth grade. She has done it every year since she found out about the program, alhamdulillah. Really fun, loves being social and talking to people like audiences and crowds. She loves communicating with others, and Mafiq's EPC program was an opportunity for her to improve her writing skills. Excellent. So I'm glad to see that many of the people we have here have joined EPC before, and a lot of the reasons for why you're joining EPC are exactly what you'll get out of the program. Lots of people working on writing and speaking skills. All right. Ahlam is 13 as well. She joined EPC because she likes the experience. It taught her to communicate her ideas better. She's improved her reading and writing, and she enjoys collaborating and doing the research. Excellent. So I'm so glad to hear a lot of really positive experiences from all of you who have done it before, and we are definitely glad to have you join us again. Alhamdulillah. Let's go ahead and get into the theme. Um, does anyone know what the theme is this year? Simra?
So this year's EPC theme is like a lasting impact, for example, a legacy, and how Muslims make a lasting impact for like the future and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Noura, would you like to add on to that?
Yeah, for I think it's like leadership and legacy.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about leadership and legacy. And I was going to ask you all what stood out from the theme. So it is leadership and legacy. How can Muslim youth leave a lasting impact? And Noura and Simra kind of already touched upon this. Some of the big points that we're focused on are leadership, legacy, and impact. So in order for us to really understand the theme, we want to make sure we understand what these terms mean. So really quickly, we'll go over these terms. And I see Raida just messaged she is in 6th grade and she is hoping that EPC is going to help her also with her public speaking skills. Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about leadership, legacy, and impact. Leadership is about guiding or helping others do the right thing. So, for example, when Sara saw her cousins arguing, she stepped in to help them talk it out and made sure that everyone felt included. So, that is a small way that someone can show leadership, a way to support and guide others. Legacy is something that you leave behind that people will remember you by. So, for example, Malcolm X's legacy focuses on justice, equality, and standing up for the rights of people. So, that is something he's left behind to be that people remember him by, his work in equity and justice. An impact is the difference that you make in the world or in someone's life. It could be something as small as going to the park and cleaning up, so that leaves a lasting impact on having a cleaner community or a cleaner space for people to go and enjoy. And so when we're talking about leadership, legacy, and impact, we're talking about things that might be simple things that we can do in our life every day, but also it could be larger topics like advocacy and social justice and the impact that that has on the local communities. So we're going to do a little game. I'm sure some of you might be familiar with this, but if not, I'm going to quickly explain the way put a finger down works. You'll start off by putting all 10 of your fingers up, and I'm going to say a statement. If the statement applies to you or if it's true for you, you're going to put a finger down. If it does not apply to you, you'll keep your finger up. So, for example, if I say put a finger down if you are in 6th grade, if you are in 6th grade, you'll put your finger down. If you are not in 6th grade, you'll keep your finger up. The number of fingers that you have down at the end of our activity will give you your leadership score. So this is just something to get you in the mindset of thinking about your own leadership at the moment and just what are you doing in your life right now that might be reflective of some of the leadership qualities that we have in some of our leaders. All right, so have all 10 fingers up and we will begin. Put a finger down if you have helped a friend who was feeling sad or upset. Okay. Put a finger down if you have stood up for someone who is being treated unfairly. Put a finger down if you took responsibility for a mistake that you made. That means you made a mistake and you acknowledged that mistake. Put a finger down if you encouraged someone to try something new or difficult. Put a finger down if you followed the rules even when others didn't. So everyone else might be doing something that is wrong, but you decided to not follow along with everyone else. Put a finger down if you helped to clean up without being asked. Put a finger down if you shared something you had with someone who needed it. Put a finger down if you showed patience when someone was learning something new. You might be the one teaching it to them or encouraging them along with it. Put a finger down if you included someone who was left out. And this is our last one. Put a finger down if you listened carefully when someone was talking to you. You were being an active listener, really paying attention to what they're saying. You're facing the speaker. You're reacting to what they're saying. Okay, so right now, look at how many fingers you have up, and that is going to help determine your leadership score. So if you have 8 to 10 fingers down, you are a leadership star. So you're showing leadership qualities in your daily life, and that might be something that you're consistently showing. If you have 5 to 7 fingers down, you're a budding leader. So you're starting to develop these leadership skills. Maybe you're a little inconsistent with some of it, but you're at that beginning stages of improving your leadership. And if you have 0 to 4 fingers down, you are just beginning to grow your leadership skills. So you want to keep looking for ways to help and be a positive example in your home or within your community. If anybody would like to share their leadership score, you can go ahead and type it in the chat, but that is really more for you to reflect. But of course, we'd love to hear from you as well. So thinking about your score can help you as you start thinking about the ideas you have or the brainstorming that you're going to do for your topic. We're going to quickly go through each of the topics per level, and then we are going to provide you with an opportunity to start brainstorming ideas and maybe ask when it could be a collaborative opportunity for you in your levels to start discussing. I did notice that we have many students who are in the same levels joining us today, so it could be a good collaborative opportunity. But also, if you have an idea and you'd like to bounce it off of one of the organizers, we're here to help you as well. So for grades 1 to 4, that's the elementary school level, you are going to have, or I guess let's look at it this way. Grades 1 and 2, you're level 1. So when we talk about the level 1 topic, that's what you will be focused on. Grades 3 and 4, you are level 2. So again, when we start looking at the specific topics, you want to focus on level 2. Grades 5 and 6, you are level 3. And then grades 7 and 8, you are level 4. So I think the highest I've seen in the chat so far was level 4. I don't think we have any high school students. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there anyone who's in high school? No? All right, so I think 8th grade was the highest that we had joining us right now. So high school is going to be a little bit different this year, and we'll get into that towards the end of the presentation. But for now, take a quick mental note of what your level is. That way you know which topic to focus on. All right. So level 1 is going to be in a letter format. You're writing a letter to a friend or family member about how you can be a leader at home or at school or even within your community. So what you're really focused on is what actions can you take, like you personally as an individual, or even when you're talking with other children or students your age, what actions can you take to help others and show that you care? Level 2 is going to take it a little bit further. So you're focusing more on what it means to be a leader and taking some of those skills that you might have had as a younger student when you're just beginning to develop your leadership and thinking about it a little bit more in a more in-depth sense. So you want to explain the importance of leadership in Islam And what does it really mean to be a leader, especially at that basic level? What are some of the qualities that make someone a leader? What are the qualities that we see more specifically in Muslim leaders? And then you can think about some of the leaders from Islamic history, like the companions, or even Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who's the best example of what a leader should act like and what they look like and what they embody. So you're gonna think about leadership in terms of what it means, and also giving us those examples of where we've seen leadership in the past. And you can even think about some modern day Muslims and the leadership qualities that we see within them as well. For middle school, that's levels 3 and 4, you have the same topic. You're thinking about legacy. So you're exploring what legacy means. And then you're also going to think about a project. So you're really using the idea of legacy to come up with a personal project that you could lead that would create a positive memory for others. You're starting to think about the impact and legacy that you can have. So you're thinking of a project and sharing how this project can teach people about the importance of leaving a lasting positive impact at a young age. Are there questions, or what questions do you have about the elementary and middle school topics? All right. If questions do arise, feel free to type them in the chat and I'll keep kind of looking between the chat, and you can always unmute yourselves to ask questions as well. Is the essay for level 4? The max would be 750 words. Oh wait, actually, let me go back and check. That's a very good question. Yes, it's the maximum. Yeah. Great question. All right, so like I said, high school is going to be a little different this year. This year, high school will participate in extemporaneous speech and writing. So there will be no prepared essays or speeches ahead of time. And this is just going to be a great way for you to really think on your feet and articulate your ideas. We've noticed a lot of our participants have been with us for quite some time, which is great. And so now you have the opportunity to really practice a lot of the skills that you've been working on over the last few years and articulate your ideas more confidently. All right, so let's brainstorm some ideas for the topics that you have. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to go ahead and brainstorm ideas for your essays, and then we can share. Yes, Musa, I believe it's 6 minutes, but I can double check and let you know. But I do believe it's 6 minutes. So I'll go ahead and start the timer. 5 minutes to brainstorm ideas. Levels 3 and 4, I noticed that's what we mostly have with us on the Zoom call right now. So for levels 3 and 4, start thinking about maybe what project ideas you would want to write your essay on, and think of think about something you're passionate about, because I think that'll help give you the most amount of, if it's something you're passionate about, you're going to be able to write about it well. So think about some of the topics you might be interested in and what legacy can you leave within those um, realms, so to speak. So I will stop sharing and give you 5 minutes to start brainstorming. And then if you have any questions, the chat is open, so I'll be looking at that, and then we can share some ideas after, inshallah. For those of you who just joined, we are spending some time right now brainstorming ideas for our essay topics. Level 1 is writing a letter about what leadership qualities someone might have. Level 2 is delving in a little bit deeper with leadership and thinking of the leadership qualities and how we see Muslim leaders embodying them, both in the past or present. And then levels 3 and 4, they are working on creating a project that talks about or that will have a lasting impact. So, talking about what legacy is and the lasting impact that we can have on our communities. Irfan, are you a level 3 or 4 participant?
I'm a grade 5 student.
5. Okay, so that's level 3. I think your idea is great. I think you want to make it a little bit more specific. So when you're talking about spreading dawah, what project idea do you have on how we can spread dawah? I think you have a really good idea. You just want to go a little bit more specific. So that is time. Who would like to share ideas that they have? And the great thing about brainstorming is you come up with so many ideas and then you can narrow it down to something that really resonates with you. Okay, I see, Irfan, you said dawah such as stopping wrongdoing in public schools, teach good things. Okay, so it looks like you want to focus a little bit on education. So maybe your project can be related to spreading dawah within schools and what idea, and you can dive deeper into that to come up with a specific project that you'd be doing. So something specific that you would want to do. What other ideas did people come up with? Nura?
In right now, I'm in fourth grade, and I have this thing at my school where they choose they vote for different people as to be like class like representatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now I am vice, and in first grade I was class rep.
Very nice. I do something similar with my students. We just had our election as well. So we voted for our class president and vice president. So that could be a great idea for you to bring into your project. So when you're writing yours, you said you were in you're level 2 or level 1?
Level 2.
Level 2. Yeah, so for level 2, when you're talking about what it means to be a leader, you can bring in some of your personal examples and then also examples from the Prophet Muhammad SAW or his companions. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Lubna, so the level 3 and 4 are the ones coming up with a project idea. Level 2, they are talking about what it means to be a leader and using qualities from Muslim leaders such as the Prophet or his companions. And then level 1 is just talking about basic leadership, like how can you be a leader at home or at school or even within your community. Level 1 is grades 1 and 2. Level 2 is grades 3 and 4. Level 3 is grades 5 and 6, and level 4 is grades 7 and 8. And then for high school, they will be participating in extemporaneous speech and writing this year. That's a great idea, Leanna. So her project idea is a business that doesn't need extensive resumes and hires a variety of different people. You can even look into organizations that do things like that. You can find, I can't think of a specific organization on the top of my head, but if you go online and search up, there are some programs that might have, especially if you look at, there are some companies that hire people who have disabilities or students who were in high school, the level topics. Yes, I'll go through that again. So you can look for organizations that provide multiple opportunities for people of varying abilities, or even, like you said, homelessness. Some people who might have been incarcerated and are now leaving the prison, sometimes there are programs that support them as well. So that's a great idea, mashallah. So I'll show the topics again. Level 1, they're writing a letter to a friend. Level 2 is what it means to be a leader. And then level 3 and 4 is what is legacy. And you can also find these topics on the EPC website. So I'll put the link in the chat for you. If you scroll down to where it says join us for EPC, you'll find all the different topics by level. So that's in the chat for you as well. So here's some other ideas for level 1. You can, if you're in level 1, first and second grade, you can think about what you do at home. So whether it be chores or helping out around the house, helping your younger siblings or even older family members. So what are some ways that you're helping at home? You can also think about leading in school. So you could, if your school does something similar to Noura's school where they have class representatives, that might be something you want to talk about in your essays, or opportunities to help in the community. Maybe there was a community cleanup or a packing event where people pack food for shelters, or you've gone to a shelter and you've volunteered before. You can share your experiences in those types of settings and what you learned from those experiences. And also just showing care and respect for others. So we said it could be something as simple as you noticed that maybe at school there was someone who didn't have anyone to play with, and you went up to them and offered to include them. That would be an example of leadership at the beginnings of your leadership. So it starts off small, and as you get older, you might develop it into something even bigger. Other ideas for level 2, what does it mean to be a leader? You can talk about qualities of good leaders like honesty, kindness, responsibility, What are some ways you've seen these qualities embodied within leaders? Give specific examples from the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or his Sahaba. You can talk about companions like Abu Bakr radiallahu anh and Umar radiallahu anh and the ways they showed leadership, and just thinking about why leadership is important in Islam. Why is it something that we should care about? Can you write about the purpose of life? So Irfan, if you're connecting that to leadership, I don't see why you can't write about it. So if you're able to make that like parallel, sure, go for it. You could make a really good essay. And then for levels 3 and 4, my suggestion for you is definitely include some sort of definition about what a legacy is or what it means before you jump into your topic. And when you choose your project topic, choose something that is meaningful to you or something that you're able to relate to or interested in. So for example, if you really enjoy reading, you can maybe create a project where you're starting a book swap to help promote a love of reading within others, or to help maybe provide people in the community with books that they can read. So that would be one way to show leadership, but it also, you're leaving behind an impact, and make sure you talk about what is that impact that you're leaving behind. Simra, I see your hands raised.
I think someone already like asked this question in the chat, but does like the person like that you're talking about who leaves a legacy or like impact have to be like an example of a Muslim person, or like have to do with Islam, or can it just be anyone in the community or world?
You can, of course, talk about anyone. We do want you to relate it to you. So if you are, whatever topic you choose to focus on within leaving a legacy, um, you can give examples of people who weren't Muslim, but also try to give examples of the people in the Muslim community, whether it's in the past or today, who also left a legacy, because there's a lot that we can learn from them. And we want you to also, a part of this is the research aspect. So maybe right now you might be unfamiliar with some of the legacies that were left behind by some of the Muslim leaders. So that might be an opportunity for you to go and do some research on maybe scientists that were, Muslim scientists or Muslim mathematicians. If you think about some of the concepts and contributions that we have now, you'll see a lot of them are by Muslim, like the Muslims invented something that we use today, or Muslims came up with an idea or concept that we are still utilizing today. So it could be a great opportunity for you to do research and learn about the impact that the Muslim community has had on the global world and community, but also think of what is meaningful to you and do your research that way. So if you're interested in science, research some of the Muslim scientists from the past and what legacies did they leave behind. So you'll find that instead of just searching for like legacies in Muslims, focus on a specific topic you're interested in, because it'll help you improve your research, but also it'll be something that you're really interested in and will be able to relate to. So let's see. Ihsan, what level are you? Are you in level 1? First or second grade?
I'm grade 2.
Grade 2? Yeah, so that would be a great
Hi.
idea. Right, Sam. Yeah, you can definitely talk about the help that you do at home with your dad and your family. So that would be a great way to show leadership. And for grades 1 and 2, you are writing a letter. So we'll talk about the parts of a letter to make sure that you're following the format that's necessary. So that is definitely something that you can talk about. All right. Any questions with the topic ideas?
How do you write a letter?
That is a great question. We can segue into that right now if there aren't any other questions about this. So we'll talk about the rubric and expectations. I'll come back to the rubric. Let's go into the letter since Ehsan was asking about that. So in grades 1 and 2, you are going to be writing a letter instead of a traditional essay. So in a letter, there are many different parts to it. The first is the heading. The heading usually includes the date. We're not going to ask you to put your address or any of the other components of a heading. What we really are focused on is just the simple heading of putting a date. And then there's a greeting. So your greeting might say, Assalamu alaikum, and then the person that you're writing to. So if I'm writing a letter to my grandmother, I might say, Assalamu alaikum, tita, because that's what I call my grandma. Or you might say, Assalamu alaikum, nene. Whatever the person you're talking to, the way you address them, that would be the name that you put there. So you could say, Assalamu alaikum. You can say, dear, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, just a general greeting. And then the body of the letter is where you would then be writing your topic information. Ahlam, you have a question?
Does level 1 have to speak?
Yes, level 1 also would be providing a speech. So they would be reading their letter, or the speech would be their letter.
Okay.
Good question. So the body is where you then have your information. So that's where you would then tell us about what a leader is, or ways that you show leadership at home, at school, or in your community. And then you have your closing. So in your closing, you might say your friend. You might use the word from, love if you're talking to a family member or friend, sincerely, or see you later. So it just depends on who you're talking to, the way you might want to close. So if I'm talking to a friend, I might close my greeting or close my letter by saying, see you later. And then the signature is your name. So you would put your name after. Irfan, I see you have a raised hand.
My question is it possible to do it in person and online both, giving a speech?
So the speech, if you are in the DMV area, the Maryland, Virginia area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, you would be in person. If you are not in that area, then you would be doing your speech virtually. So you wouldn't be participating in both. It's just one of the two. Ehsan?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sister. I have a question for both of the kids. Both are mine actually. So basically I'm trying to understand. So they write an essay and then they say the essay as a speech?
Exactly, yeah. So the essay, so there's two parts to the competition. The first part is the writing.
Mhm.
So for the younger, if it's grades 1 and 2, they're writing a letter, and that would be what the essay portion is. And then grades or levels 2 through 4 and high school would be a written essay. So like it might have an introduction paragraph, the body, and then a concluding paragraph. So just an essay, and that's the first part. The second part would be a speech. So the students who have made it past the writing, usually the judges will first judge the writing part, and then we'll send out a message to the participants to let them know if they've made it to the speech part. And then in the speech round, they would take what they wrote and then use that to present it to the judges as a speech. So there's two components to it.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how do we submit those things, the written one?
So there will be, when you come here, let's see, there should be a link that you would submit it to. It might not be on the website just yet, but there will be a link. When you click on it, you'll submit the essays through that.
So
Brother
there's a way to sign up right now, right?
Yes, so right now you sign up, but you're not submitting the essay just yet.
Just
Right. Brother Mustafiz, do you have more information on the submitting the essay?
Go to the resource page. Go down, yeah. Or Format and rubric. Yeah, go down. Go down. Yeah.
Oh, is it submit your topic through the Google form? Or is
Okay.
that's the information campaign?
Let me check it quickly.
Mm.
And may I add something?
Yeah, sure.
So last year,
Yeah,
my son were able to do it virtually because we have some physical disability issues. Is this okay if we can do it that way this year also?
So if you contact essays@mafik.org, they'll be able to better assist with that.
Sure, inshallah.
Yeah. Irfan, you have a question?
One more thing to add. When do we present the essay on one day in 2025?
So I will share the dates for that towards the end of the presentation, but great question. Hold on to it if I forget to answer it. I see there are a few questions in the chat, so let me take a look at that.
Check the chat room. I posted the link to the submission page.
Okay. And then I see Sister Firdausi said, how many minutes will be given? All right. Yes, so for level 5, the high school, you will be doing it on the spot. I don't have the exact timing. Brother Mustafiz, do you know how many minutes they're given?
The minutes are also there, but it will be subject to the number of participants we get.
Okay.
But here is the minute. Let me give you the minutes.
Yeah, so when you do submit your essay, you'll just follow this link here. You'll type in your name, your email, you'll answer these questions, and then you'll be able to upload your essay submission. So that's the link that Brother Mustafiz put in the chat. You can go ahead and click on that. And then if you also go to the EPC website, at the bottom where it said format and rubric, there's the essay submission link as well.
So Doha, what was the question? You asked the time for the speech?
Yes, for the high school.
I think it is here on this. See, right, this one.
Since they're doing it extemporaneously
Oh,
now.
extemporaneous, I think that will be, they will decide on the spot. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes. Yes, you are right.
Okay. Yeah, so you'll be getting, and the topic will be revealed for you at the event as well. But it would be still something within the theme of leadership and legacy. Yeah.
Do you do spontaneous for a lower level or just high school?
Extemporaneous is just for high school this year. Inshallah. All right, so let's look at the rubric for level 1. In terms of the style, we're looking to see, did you include the format of a letter? So do you have those components that we just talked about, a heading, greeting, body, closing, and signature? Make sure you don't forget the heading. That small little tweak could be the difference between getting full points and a few points taken off in that part of the rubric. And then, technical is technical is all the parts of the letter are there. The style is the way in which you are presenting your information within the letter. So within your letter format, are you showing your sense of style as the writer? Are you the way you're talking in your letter, is it reflective of who you're talking to? So if I'm talking to a friend, it's going to sound very different than if I'm talking to a grandparent or a classmate. So just making sure that your tone matches the person that you are writing to. Then we'll also be looking at your grammar, punctuation, and spelling, and the organization of your letter. Are all the parts of your body, do they flow well? Does it make sense? Did you include like a specific structure within your letter so your ideas are following a sequence? They're not, you're not starting at the beginning and then going back to something that happened, before that. So your organization is clear, so that we are able to follow through and understand. For levels 2 through 6, it's similar. We're looking at your ideas, and then do your ideas reflect an understanding of the topic that you were given? Are you addressing the components that are within the topic? So making sure you hit all the parts of the topic. And then again, organization. Is it clear what your the way you've written, is it clear? Do you have an introduction? Do you have clear body paragraphs? Do you have clear conclusion? Are there transitions between your writing? And then with word choice, sentence fluency, and grammar, just looking to see like the author's voice. Is it present within within your essay? Can we see your unique voice? And then making sure you have a works cited page, because we do want you to do some of that research to expand your knowledge. And so what resources did you use, and making sure that you reference them not only as a reference page, but also within your essay. When you were talking about maybe one of the leaders, did you reference where you got that information from? So that is something that we would also be looking for. There is a video here, and I believe the presentation will be sent out, so I'll let you all watch this video on your own time on how to cite, why to cite, and when to cite. So there's just a quick video that you can all watch on your own time for that. This is just the requirements in terms of the maximum number of words and the speech time. Again, high school is different this year because it is extemporaneous only. So there won't be like this maximum words and speech time is going to be different depending on the number of participants, like Brother Mustafi said. So the event details, if you are in the DMV area, you will be participating in person for the speech portion of the contest. The date is Saturday, February 1st at ISB, Islamic Society of Baltimore. And then if you don't live in the DMV, you can still participate, but your presentation for the speech will be virtual, and it'll be held on Saturday, January 25th on Zoom. What questions do you still have that we might not have addressed? Do the cites count as words? If you mean like, do the citations count within it? Yeah, it would still go in your word count. Like we won't go through and take the words out for citation. So that would still be part of your word count. Okay, any other questions? See if I missed anything in the chat.
How do we register?
How do you register? Oh, Leanne, so Leanne, those citations do count in your word count. And then with the registration, I will put the EPC link again. Let me go back. You should be able to find the registration here. See if I can just pull it up real quick so you have a direct link. While I'm pulling that up, are there any other questions on the topics or registration or the actual event? So I'm putting in the chat right now the registration link. For the citation format, we don't specify MLA or APA. It's up to you. You can do either one. Just make sure that whichever format you're using, you follow through the entire way. So if you're doing APA, make sure your in-text and reference is in APA. And if you're doing MLA, same thing. Just make sure your reference page and your in-text citations match the format. And there's the registration link in the chat. And I'll also put the link for submitting your work. No, we just look at word limit.
Wait, did you say it's MLA format or APA format?
Either one, because I know some schools teach MLA, some schools teach APA. So whichever one you use at school is what you can use on the essay. Just make sure you're following the same format with your in-text and your reference page or works cited page.
Okay, thank you.
And here's the link for submitting your essays, inshallah. All right. If there aren't any other questions, we can end here, inshallah. There are going to be other workshops coming up that are specific to the writing portion. So if you start working on your essays now and then you join the writing workshops, it'll be good to have your draft with you so that some of the tips that they're providing you can then implement within your writing, your written piece. But Jazakumullah khairan for joining us. And inshallah, we hope to see you at other workshops and we look forward to seeing you at the competition.